start Act 1. We'll be right back with more Gamebound Fiasco right after this. Stick around.
1.
Why do you gotta
And
ruin
we're
my intro
back.
every single time, Emily? Is that just you just take some perverse pleasure in ruining? What?
Oh my god, what just happened? Are you okay, Em?
Yeah.
Your ceiling attack?
No, okay.
I'm so glad
was
that
the
happened
light.
live.
Oh my gosh, the lights are now right here next to me. One of them broke.
Is it those darn command hooks? Is that what happened
I
again?
can't. Let me put on my glasses to kind of see what's actually gone on right now. The command hook is still there, so I'm not really sure what happened. But there's a broken light bulb in front of me, and I don't know where any of the glass went.
Oh, that's lovely.
Okay. I'll be right back. Take a.
Emily, do you remember basically how the Fiasco rules work?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
all right. I'll just explain it for
Yeah. Okay.
as a recap then.
Yeah.
Well, so Fiasco, the way it works is so we'll have all these dice. We play it a shortened version as to opposed to how it's usually played because we always end up just doing long scenes and then it ends up just taking longer. And so we're gonna do it half as long as we usually do. And so instead of giving people 1 dice at the end of their scene, we are going to give them 2. And so the way it works is one of us will start and either choose to establish a scene in which we get to choose what the scene is, who's there, who is playing what characters themselves, or their character or a different character. It's entirely possible. And then like what's going on. But in which case the other players will get to decide how the scene ends, or the other way around. You can choose to decide how the scene ends and be able to choose the dice that is given to you. But the rest of the players will decide what the scene is, who is there, and what's going on. And so we'll do basically 1 round of it, going around and doing 4 scenes, one where each character is highlighted. And then at the end of that scene, we'll decide either the player whose scene it is, or the other players, depending on what they chose, whether or not that scene had a good outcome for that character, the highlight character, or a bad outcome. And in which case, they will be given white dice or black dice. White is for good outcomes, black is for bad outcomes. And so what you'll end up doing is getting a bunch of dice in front of you. And in this first act, you'll get the dice in front of you, and then you'll immediately give them away to someone else. And what you don't want is mixed colors. You want all of one color. Because if you have mixed colors, then you roll them and they cancel each other out. And 0, the result of 0, is the worst possible result you can get at the end of the game. So you want a lot of dice of one color so that you get a very high number of that color at the very end of the game when we roll to decide what the outcome for the characters is. So that's what we will do. We will go through each character around in a circle and then do it again. But there are other Act 2 rules that I will get to once we get to that point. So, I think that's basically everything I need to talk about, but Emily is not quite finished.
Have we done this before? I feel like when we did...
I don't think I've
When
ever
we
done
did show
Fiasco.
tunes, I feel like this had similar... There was some similar mechanic to the scene generation with show tunes.
I don't.
There was the
think
whole,
so.
we're going to decide on what scene we're going to do, and then...
Right.
that kind of
Yeah,
deal.
there's a little bit
Is
more
that-
like what's the word? Deliberate scene establishment in show tunes, like there's in
Okay.
this one.
Okay, I'm gonna vacuum real quick, and then I'll be.
Okay.
I'll be back.
That's right.
Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit more deliberate. In each scene, there'll hopefully be an arc of, is this a scene that's good for your character or a scene that's bad for your character?
Okay, so. Oh, it's more like Kingdoms. That's what it is.
Yes, that's what it is. It's more like Kingdom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's very similar to Kingdom.
Speaking of that, we need to finish that.
We do need to finish that. It's been so long.
I don't even. Do you have the VOD from that still? We
Yep.
need to go back and.
Mhm.
We'll need to go back and rewatch that
For
before
sure.
we.
We should do that again, though. Whenever it's just you, me, and Connor again, we should definitely do that.
That was so good though.
No, I dropped cheese on myself.
Oh, good for you.
No, but there's ranch on it, so now I have ranch on my shorts.
Why would you put ranch on cheese? That's like.
Yeah, that's really gross.
That sounds horrible.
Always put ranch on cheese. I have a sandwich. I have Black Forest ham, cheddar cheese, and ranch, and some lettuce. It's delicious. Does anyone else have any questions while we're waiting for Emily?
Ranch on a sandwich?
Yeah, that's my question.
Always put ranch on sandwiches.
But
I like ranch on everything. So
But ranch on a sandwich.
have you
feel
never
like this
seen
is-
me put ranch on a sandwich before, Josh? I
To
always
be
put ranch on sandwiches.
fair, I don't normally see what you're eating
Fair.
because normally you don't steal Connor's shtick and eat during live streams.
That is fair. I usually don't do that. But, we're just kind of hanging out now, so.
This is so exciting, guys.
I know.
Uh-huh.
We had like a moment of excitement, and now I'm like, oh, it's over.
I mean, I could drop a light bulb on my head if that would help, but
I was genuinely worried for Emily though for a second because
Yeah,
it was like
I
a
was like,
flash of light.
oh no.
I was really confused as to what happened. I suspected it was something falling, but
Well, I knew immediately it was her lights.
Yeah.
Like after a second, I was like, because she had like just shown it to us, so I was like, oh
Mhm.
no. Poor M. I can't even talk about the Bachelorette right now. Dang it. Hey guys, if you're on the live stream right now, you should check out Avatar: The Last Rewatch, our
Yeah.
podcast. Shameless plug.
Absolutely. We just finished our most recent episode that we just put out was about the Southern Air Temple, and it was a great episode. And
And tonight we're going to talk about the Kyoshi Warriors.
yeah.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that episode.
It's a great episode.
It's a great episode.
Yeah.
Definitely couldn't get away with it these days, but it's a great episode.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure to tune in Friday nights to Elysian Road.
But not this Friday
You know.
night, because we will not have Elysian Road. And not for many Friday nights, actually, because I will be
What are you
gone.
guys doing
right.
instead?
That's right, because Caleb leaves us during August.
Yes. August is a time in which I don't do anything in Janesville.
Because Caleb
I'm
doesn't
gone.
want to go. Caleb doesn't want to go with me to Gen Con, is what it is.
Wait, when is Gen Con?
It's literally the weekend you guys are at kids camp.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's what it always is, isn't it?
Every
And so-
year
Yep.
for the next 5 years.
And so is BlimeyCon. It's so sad.
Yep. Are you going to Gen Con this year? Like actually doing it?
No, I'm going to PAX.
Oh, that's cool.
I decided if I'm going to go, I might as well go big.
Yeah.
So, are you guys not doing anything tomorrow then for Elysian
No,
Road?
Connor and Jared ended up not being free, and so I was just like, we could do like a one shot, but I also have like a whole bunch of editing to do tomorrow that I've been putting off that I should have already have done. And so I'm just gonna be editing videos literally all day tomorrow, sun up to sundown, all day.
From sunrise to sunset.
Yep,
There's a Fiddler on the Roof joke there.
probably.
I know there is. The problem is I don't know the song very well, so. I feel like such a savage.
I haven't seen that musical in forever.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Em. Welcome back. Is everything
Hey.
okay?
I'm
I
glad
think-
you're alive.
I think so.
Electricity falling from the ceiling is never a good thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, guys. That's what I was saying. I was fearing of the command hook's not doing so great
Mm-hmm.
because that happened. So, now we'll just see if anything else falls down.
Well, hopefully that's not the case.
Hopefully not.
So who do we want to start with?
I mean, should we start with Alyssa because she's the most like story driven?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great.
She's the only one with a need.
Right, you're the like my scene would be like I'm cooking in the kitchen.
All right, fine. Just gonna be one of those days.
Well, you can choose not to establish, though. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm totally not. You
Yeah.
guys established the scene, please.
Yeah. All right.
So,
What do you guys think?
what's the mechanics here? Do we just sort of make a decision?
Yeah.
Just
So
like-
basically, we just decide what's happening, where we are, who is cast as what characters, and like what's going on.
I think we've just collided with the crags at Tortuga.
Oh wow.
Easy to just start in media res,
Mini
as
res,
you
yeah,
like
we
to
could do
do.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could just start like with something happening, so we all have more motivation to do things.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Okay, so it's like the middle of the night. It's stormy. We've just like run into like the crags. So we were headed to this pirate town, and we ran afoul of these crags.
We're headed to the pirate town to find some booty.
Yeah.
We found the crags instead.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
Probably on Josh's character's part.
Probably.
To be fair,
So
they didn't build the compass with me in mind.
Sorry. Is everybody cast as their characters?
Yeah.
I
Do we-
don't see
Is
why
there
we
anyone
would
else?
I mean,
Like
do we?
mess it up,
in the
or
scene?
why we would mess it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just is, sometimes it depends. Like if like one character is off doing a thing by themselves, and we would play like the other characters that are around them in that moment that aren't our characters. But
I mean, I think if we just shipwrecked, everybody would kind of be together.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yep. Okay. So there's a flash of lightning, and there's a storm, and we zoom in on Brooks. What does Brooks look like, Alyssa?
Brooks is a medium-sized boy who's very lanky. Probably has like scruffy, like light brown blondish hair. With like a couple chin hairs like starting to come in. And he thinks that he's a man, but he's really only like 14. You know how teenagers are. He's
As
basically
every 14-year-old is.
He's basically an angsty 14-year-old boy. That's what he looks like.
Mm-hmm. So like, what are you
So that-
doing? What's
You guys are going to describe your characters first before we.
I guess we could. So I guess maybe like in this fake TV show or movie or whatever, the camera pans over to the rest of the people, and I think maybe like Mac is like the next person we go to, and we see like the you're like at the wherever the navigator is supposed to be on this ship.
Mm-hmm. I think Mac is. You first see him and he's holding a spyglass to his eye, and you think, oh, kind of a grizzled pirate, and you kind of get a head and shoulders shot, and you realize, well, this grizzled pirate only has one arm. And then a flash of lightning, and the camera zooms back a little bit, and you see he's sitting on two stumps of what used to be legs, and you realize that he literally only has one arm, and he has no limbs other than that. And so he's sitting there
Wow.
in the pouring rain, looking through his spyglass, which is very obviously covered in water and not working right, bellowing to the man at the helm, "Turn to starboard! No, that's port, you fool!
And then I think we pan over and it's me, and I'm like, at the helm, just like like moving the wheel, like trying to like go where you're telling me to go, and I'm like, I'm very sorry, Mr. Mac. I think we are not going anywhere for a while here. And yeah, so I'm bald. I have a I'm dark skin. I have like the the classic like bandana tied around my bald head. And I'm like bare chested, super muscular, like big dude. And just have like the kind of like pirate capris as they were. And no shoes. I was about to say no feet, but I do have feet. And that no shoes. Yeah, and so I'm just like frantically trying to like hold this as we're like getting like tossed to and fro by the storm, and I think then like we hear probably like a like sound is like a hole gets like ripped in the bottom of our ship as we're like going like into reefs and stuff. And then I guess where's Peggy?
I guess once we start kind of crashing around, I peek my head up from wherever the kitchen is, not on the deck of the ship, and I'm a very, very overweight Haitian woman who has a peg leg, but just like she has most of her leg. It's just like kind of like her foot and part of like her ankle are gone, so it's a very little peg that defies physics in the fact that it holds so much weight that you're just like, how does that peg even work? I'm pretty sure that wood would have split. Like that doesn't really make any sense. And I like stick my head up and you can see that my eyes are kind of like cataract over, clearly don't see very well, and I'm like holding a knife. I'm like, what's going on up here?
And I think I probably like turn back to you, Peggy, and I'm like, get back below ship, sister. There's a bad storm up here. You don't want to be here.
I don't think it's gonna make any difference if I'm up here or down there. We're all kind of in this.
He's right, you know. We want the ballast at the bottom of the ship to keep us upright.
Okay, so I think
Save us,
So-
Alyssa.
okay, so Caleb, you're steering the ship, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, are you the captain?
I don't know. I could be.
I'm asking because this could pertain to my character.
Well, I mean, I guess that would make sense. Why else would you hire a partially blind woman
Yeah,
to
that's
be?
fair. All right, I'm fine with being the captain.
Okay,
I feel
so
like
then-
the ship is like kind of like collectively captained in a way. I'm just kind of the captain.
We're a democracy.
Yeah. It's basically
we're
just a bunch of.
pirates. We're pirates who believe in democracy.
Well, no, I think it's
okay.
more like a bunch of convicts just like stole a ship, and we're kind of like figuring out leadership as we go along here.
Well, because the cabin boy, like, literally is like the lowliest position
Right.
on the ship.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I'm like, so the ship has just crashed, and I think like 14-year-old Brooks like runs straight up to like the captain's board and goes, "Sir, reporting for duty, sir. What can I do, sir?"
Well, normally you would be up in the crow's nest, watching out for, approaching ships and whatnot, but,
Yeah, but you told me to go to sleep, sir.
right, what I was about to say is there's definitely nothing to watch out for. It's just rain. You're not gonna be able to see anything. So, go back to sleep, I guess, Brooks. Or,
But we just crashed, sir. What can I do, sir?
oh, right. And I, like, look up at the, like, cliff that's suddenly looming in front of us, and I'm like, maybe you should start bailing out the water.
Out of the ship?
Yeah. I heard like a ripping sound there a moment ago, and I'm pretty sure we tore a hole in the bottom of the ship.
Are you saying that we're sinking, sir?
You heard the captain. Go bail.
I am
That's
not.
up
I
to
can
the
neither
cabin boy
confirm.
to worry about the cap.
But Brooks kind of like puts his hands on his hips and like looks at
Mac.
looks at Mac, and it's just like, you can't tell me what to do.
I can neither confirm nor deny that we are, in fact, maybe sinking, possibly. But I can indeed confirm that the thing that maybe will be most helpful right now is bailing out water. Take that as
Sir,
you
I
will.
Okay, sir. But what happens if the ship starts sinking, sir?
Well, it was nice knowing you then.
Okay, sir.
Get to work, Brooks. I don't have time for this, and I'll like pretend to like steer when we're like obviously stuck in one place.
Okay. I think Brooks like takes a bucket, goes back down, sees that there's like a bunch of water, puts the bucket down, and does nothing. He just sits there.
You see me below deck, and I'm just kind of standing in the middle as the water is rising, and I feel it on my one flesh foot. And I just like kind of am angrily like with my arms crossed, just like staring at nothing, standing there.
Yeah, so I think out of defiance, like Brooks like throws down the bucket. Goes, so stupid. Why am I doing this? Like, this is just so dumb. But he sees Peggy like standing there, like as like the water's like rising, and goes, gotta save the old hag. All right, so he like goes and grabs Peggy's arm and says, "Peggy, we gotta go. The ship's sinking."
Well, we can't leave without my friends.
You mean your brother?
No, my friends.
Oh, right, your friends. Okay. Which, I mean, you're blind, so you can't see my air quotes, right?
I don't see them. I mean, I'm not totally blind. I can still kind of see.
Yeah, no, I think Brooks
Not
knows
well.
that and like says like it in air quotes, like without it, like when you're
not enough that I can see air quotes.
Yeah. Okay, let's go grab your friends. Let's go. We gotta get out of here.
Okay, so I start leading us towards the kitchen.
Where are your friends, Peggy? Let's get out of here. We gotta go.
They're in the kitchen where they always are. Where they always are.
In the drawer?
No, they're always with me in the kitchen. And so as we get to the kitchen, I take my voodoo heads off the wall.
Oh, they're on the wall.
So is it like a string of voodoo heads that are like hanging on the wall?
Tied together by their hair?
Yeah. They're three separate ones. They all have like their hair up that they're like hanging on nails. So, but there's just three of them that are out there.
Now, question: whose heads are these?
It's a good question.
Okay.
It's too dark to tell.
It's said there were more cabin boys at one point.
This just got dark real quick.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we got your friends. Let's go. Go.
I start slowly hobbling at my normal pace.
I'm dragging you at this point.
I don't think you're that strong, but
Come on. He's not, but he thinks he is. So he's like, "Come on, old woman, let's go."
It's the like classic anime scene where you like go on all sides of her, try like push her forward, like try to drag her forward.
and I'm still just like hobbling forward.
Meanwhile, like water's like slowly like rushing in.
Yeah. So you guys get back up on deck, and Tobias is like looking out over like the front of the ship, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is bad, Mac. Oh, this is very bad."
You think?
I think we might have to abandon ship.
No, I think we can live here the rest of our lives. Settle down and all cozy like right here. That's a nice spot.
I don't have time for your sarcasm.
I think at this point, there's junk tangled in the masts, and the canvas is still pulling. So Mac grabs one of the sheets, the triangular rope ladder deals. Those are called sheets, and he grabs one of them and he swings his way up into the masts. Surprisingly agile for having only one arm and a little hook hanging from one of his pant legs. And he swings his way up into the mast to take down the canvas before it rips the mast in half.
So you're like some kind of sort of crazy like half wooden monkey, just like swinging up into the rafters.
Kind of.
So what do you say you're doing? You're putting on the mast,
taking down what remains of the sails before it pulls us even further onto the rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like looking up at you, and I'm like, "That's good, Mac. That's good. All right." And I like look around at the rest of the people, and I'm like, "Every man for himself," and I just like jump into the ocean.
I guess I would think that we would be coming up as you say that, and I just yell, "Thank you, brother!"
Brooks! Go after the captain! He cannot swim!
And then it goes down, I'm just like, oh no, this was a bad idea.
And so I go like, watch after the old hag. All right. And I like really like dive down into the water.
Yeah.
And like grab you by like the waist and like kick through. Like I think we're pretty close to the shore, so I think it's like literally like 5 feet deep.
Right. Yeah. So you like drag me up onto the rocks or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you, Brooks. Remind me next time payday comes, I'm giving you a promotion and a raise.
Yeah, I don't think your sister's too happy that you just left her.
Oh, she can swim fine. She's plenty buoyant.
You see me in the background, like cannonballing off the ship, and I'm like swimming like a master. I maybe like did a flip on the way down into a cannonball.
And like the splash is so large it drenches Mac all the way up in the mast.
Yes.
I was thinking the splash would be just like one tiny drop.
Oh, even better.
And so I think in this moment, like when you say that, like you'll get a promotion, you know, in payday, and like I like whisper into my breath, the only payday that'll satisfy me is when that monster is dead. And then like smile back at, and then I smile like back at you, like, okay, sir.
Perfect.
Total anime protagonist.
I think that's literally like what's gonna be like my thing is like monologuing.
Yep. So this is definitely like a shonen anime now. So I'm into it.
Mac comes rappelling down out of the rigging on one of the flying ropes. You're not entirely sure how he's managing to rappel with only one arm, but he's doing it, and he's doing it well. He slides down the rope, and he joins you on the rocks.
And I look at you, and I'm like, well, what now?
There's not much left of the sails.
I can see that.
And there's a big hole in the side of the ship.
And you
And
can also see that.
we're up in ankle deep water. Well,
Noted.
waist deep water.
Noted again.
And, you know, there's a storm on. And
There's a what?
starboard and port are different, you know.
Yes, I was aware of
Port
this.
is that
I'm a
way,
captain.
and starboard is that way.
Oh, you're blaming me for this.
I said go to starboard, and what you do, you swing us hard around to
Well,
port.
the star was right there.
That's not what it means.
It was poking through the clouds. I thought that's what you meant.
There's a little board on the right side of the ship, or on the left side of the ship that's got a little star engraved on it. You're supposed to turn toward the star on the board.
Well, stars are supposed to twinkle, and I didn't see a twinkle come from the wooden part of the rail.
I'm surrounded by a bunch of idiots.
Well, I think the pains wore off.
As I emerge from the water and hear you arguing, I take off what you now see. I had a flipper attachment to my little peg. And I just slap both of you guys with the flipper and continue hobbling on my way. With some difficulty, seeing as this is probably kind of sandy and that's not the best terrain for a peg.
Mac immediately loses his balance and falls flat on his back, where he flails around for a minute trying to stand up.
Yeah, and I think I say, well, we can argue about this later. Brooks, help me drag the rest of the crew that's drowning right now to the rocks. And so like
Sir,
start like
yes,
helping
sir.
people like up.
Sir, yes, sir. So basically, like, I just like go out and like drag as many people as I
Yeah.
can because none of you can help me. You can't
Yeah,
swim.
and so I
you
think
have
what
no legs.
I think what I end
and
up saying is like,
You are blind. So
yeah, I'm just like shouting encouragement to you from the rocks. I'm just like, oh, good job, Brooks. Oh, there's another one over there. Get that person too. Good job.
So wait, can none of this crew swim? They're all pirates and none of them can swim. Is that what we're establishing
I
right
think
now?
so.
Brooks is the only one that can
Well,
swim.
so that's the thing. I think we've established that we're all escaped convicts, and we haven't been pirates for long.
I think we're
Okay.
maybe heading to Tortuga to pick up our first pirate contract.
Yeah.
We're probably like convicts and contract workers.
Yeah.
And so we think that the whole world revolves around the boss getting a contract and setting his people to work on it. So like we're off to find our first pirating contract.
Yeah. Right, you just walk up to the tavern and just be like, hey, anyone need anything pirated?
Okay, so here's the thing. If the whole crew is dying, I think I saved like 2 people.
Oh no. And so I
Like,
scream,
seriously.
yeah, I scream like, no, Jimmy! You were supposed to save Jimmy Brooks.
You
Jimmy
didn't
was my best
specify,
friend.
sir. You didn't specify which crew members to save, sir, and I didn't realize you had favorites.
Next time,
Ah,
I'm throwing Mac
good
into the water.
choice.
So it's okay. I managed to save Kennedy and Billy over here.
Brooks, do everyone a favor and put Kennedy back where you found him.
I don't think I can do that, sir.
We're not going to drown my crew members. More than we already did. And by we, I mean Mac.
It wasn't my fault. You cannot take basic directions.
I don't think... Oh, I wasn't the one who got us all the way out into these crags instead of going straight to Tortuga like we were supposed to.
It's a shortcut.
You don't know any shortcuts. You've never been on the ocean before.
Idiots! It's both of your
I'm
fault.
short.
Captain, you
I
should
know
know how to
everything
sail a
there's
boat.
to know
You
about
should know how to navigate a boat. This is just a...
Just
And
like
then I think
stalk off.
I like storm off
Yeah.
like an angsty teenager, and I think that's where we end the scene.
Yeah.
What's with him?
And I like shrug. Okay, cool. So I guess it's up to you then, Alyssa. Is this a good scene or a bad scene for Brooks?
It depends on your perspective, really. I saved 2 people. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved Peggy technically.
Oh.
I mean,
You think you saved Peggy.
I think I saved Peggy. And I don't think I've really established anything towards my need though, so that's the only thing
Mm-hmm.
other than like my side monologue. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Like, just give me your honest opinion.
Also, because we're doing the 2 dice thing, we can give you both
That is true.
1 and 1.
I would say this is more of a neutral outcome.
Yeah.
It didn't advance my need at all, but and I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't think it was a entirely negative outcome.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think for the first act, remember you give these away. So, but I think you can give those away individually too. You can give someone 2, or you can give 1 and 1.
Yeah, that's what we did last.
Yeah, I think that's what we did last time too.
Okay, I am gonna give. I'm gonna give Emily a positive dice for that awesome swimming that she did,
Arr, thank you.
and I'm gonna give Mac a black dice because I don't like him.
Lad,
Wow.
I didn't like you either.
I really like being on this opposite side now.
I believe we like each other in this game. So, I mean, I have called you like a old hag like twice, but you know,
It's
Everybody does that,
affectionate.
it's
Yeah, it's affectionate old hag. Okay, cool. So, Josh, it's
Right.
Maxine. Do you want to establish or resolve?
I think I want to establish. I think we've cobbled together some rafts and are rowing, pulling, punting our way
oh
to
no,
Tortuga's docks.
oh no,
Pulling into the docks at Tortuga on these makeshift rafts.
oh no. This is not gonna go well. I thought
Okay.
for sure we'd stay on the island for a little bit.
All right,
God.
sounds good.
Okay.
Who is who?
So, how many rafts are there? Are there like?
I mean,
is there
I
just,
feel like
one?
we'd only really need. Well, maybe we need two. One for Peggy, and
So
one for
I
everybody
think
else.
what we need to do is use. I was gonna say we use the same metric that everybody uses. We try to figure out, okay, how many roses can we fit on a given raft,
Right, because that's the
and
metric
whether or not a
everybody uses.
Leonardo DiCaprio can fit on there with her.
Right.
But no, I think we need a separate raft for Peggy.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll make Brooks row that one.
Okay, so Brooks is not gonna be in this scene then.
Well, I mean, I think we're probably rowing, like, we're on the makeshift rafts, like.
Yeah,
next
we're
to each
rowing the
other,
rafts right next to each other.
Okay.
So we're all just ourselves, probably.
Yeah, I think we'll just stick with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I have made myself a chair out of bamboo on the middle of the raft, and I'm sitting on it giving orders to Mac and Kennedy and Bill, and like making them row the raft, and I'm like just like directing from my little like bamboo chair.
I'm like trying to keep up, like because I'm a woman on the raft.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, wait, she's not helping at all.
Oh, slow down a little bit, Mac.
Right, you heard him, boys. Slow down a bit. Row slower, I said. Max kind of drumming out a beat on the raft with his one hand as to try to get the, to have the other two row in tune with the beat. Of course, they're not. Their sense of rhythm, they don't have any sense of rhythm. They're just flailing the paddles around like they know nothing.
All right, everybody. Remember, we're here to get a good pirating job, so stay sharp and make sure that you are acting as much like a pirate as you possibly can.
I
You
just
heard him, Brooks.
hear stay sharp and I hold my knife up. Stay sharp.
I like monologue and I'm like, how are we supposed to do a pirate thing if we don't have a ship? Well, did you say something to Brooks? Just rowing.
Yeah, Mac hollered out. You heard him, Brooks. Put your back into it. Look like a pirate.
Yes, sir.
I think I need a parrot, Mac.
You need a parrot, sir.
Yes. How much money do we have left? Did anyone scrounge the coin that we stole from the sheriff back in Antigua?
I think that was in your cabin, sir. At the bottom of the ship.
Crap. Well, does anyone else have any pocket change?
I think I like stop rowing for a second and I like pull out like a dime.
Yeah, like, and I like look back and I'm like, do you think that could buy me a parrot, Brooks?
No, sir.
It's a dang shame. Well, keep rowing.
Mac goes rummaging in his shirt pocket, pulls out a piece of bread that's probably 6 weeks old with a lovely little culture of mold growing on it, and rummages around between his ear and his hat, pulls out a dagger that's roughly 1.5 feet long,
What?
You must have a big hat.
Looks at it and then kind of works it back up into his hat.
Okay.
I got nothing, Captain.
Whose idea? Like, we're literally, like, out in the middle of the ocean, right now?
Well, I think we're, like, probably coming into the, like, bay now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, whose idea was this?
Well, all of us, right? Didn't we take a vote on this?
We voted. Though I don't think anyone could read the ballots.
I can read. They all said Tortuga.
Did they, sir?
No, what I mean is, like, all the options said Tortuga. So, no matter what you chose, we are going to Tortuga. It's a little trick I picked up from... I just made it up. I didn't pick it up from anywhere. But we're going to Tortuga now, so... we need food anyway. Keep rowing!
How long have we been rowing for? Like, 2 days?
I don't think that long.
No, I think we may have like crashed on the seawall outside the
Right,
port,
that's what
to
I'm
be
thinking, right?
honest.
Like, it probably wasn't that far away.
Like we failed at basic ship navigation,
Yeah.
just rammed into the seawall instead
Yeah.
of going between the lighthouses. Like we
Oh, okay, got it. So we're
Mhm.
not that far away. Okay.
no.
This says, like, the crags outside of Tortuga, so it's, like, right outside, like, Tortuga, so...
Got it. So
Yeah.
we've just been rowing for a little bit.
Yeah. But it's probably
Probably
still definitely not fun for you.
There's probably a crowd forming on the docks laughing at our attempts.
Yeah, there's just people be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah, your mighty ship comes into port. What do you name yourself? Your mighty crew. And I like stand up out of my chair and I'm like, I am Captain Tobias, and this is the crew of the... I like look down, I'm like, what's the name of our ship?
The Leaky Bucket.
That's a horrible name, Mac.
I'm sorry. Would you prefer I
Brooks,
called
what's
it
the name of our
Hag
ship?
Delicacy?
The Black Skull.
Oh, that's much more piratey. Best pirate voice here. I'm Captain Tobias, and this is the crew of the Black Skull.
I just go, "Arr," and I hold up my friends.
Like, I just yell, like, Captain Tobias, why are you changing your voice?
Because we have to blend in. When in Rome, do as the Greeks do, as they say.
It's when in Rome, do as the Romans.
Aye, aye, brother.
This
I'm
is me
following-
sister
I'm
Peggy.
following your lead.
This is like Cabin
Where's
Boy
Rome?
Brooks.
Where's Rome?
I think it's in South America or something like that.
Also, the whole time I was holding up and saying, like, aye, aye, brother, I was facing the wrong way.
Yeah, you're like facing out towards the ocean.
Yeah, I'm facing towards the sea.
Yeah, so the pirates are just still like laughing at us. I'm like, this accent
Brooks
isn't
is like
working.
that embarrassed teenager that's
Uh-huh.
just,
My parents are being so embarrassing right now.
basically.
Yeah,
I think
in front of my cool friends.
the lashing holding the boards together is starting to come undone
Oh,
on at least our raft.
I wanted to say Kennedy and Billy again.
We'll probably just let him drown this time.
I think just as we get to the dock, Mac grabs the edge, swings himself up, and then the raft just breaks apart.
Yeah, so we all just like are in the water, just like, oh, wait, I can stand here. And I just like
I
get
start
up on them.
gracefully swimming
dock.
through the water, and I like pop out like a very
Like a walrus onto an iceberg.
yeah, and I'm like on the dock.
I kind of want to do that thing like Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like
Right.
as the ship is going down, like I'd go walk onto
Yep.
the port. Except it's just a small raft.
Yep. And then be like, and I take my bandana. I probably have like a hat, like a captain's hat. So I take it off, put it over my heart. I have the bandana underneath it, and I look down at the logs that are sinking to the bottom of the bay, and I say, "Rest in peace, the Black Skull. You did us well for the time that we had you."
All 6 days.
Say what?
I think it was like 30 minutes.
How long do you think we were out in the ocean?
I didn't, Ken. I was drunk most of it.
Well, that did explain it. Well, did any of you fine gentlemen looking around like the pirates that are like laughing at us on the dock know where we can find a job? Owen? Well,
I think the whole group is like just laughing uproariously, and then one of the slightly less drunk, more astute ones looks again, and he's like, "Wait, they're serious."
yes,
You're
we are
looking-
serious. We're looking for work. We are respectable pirates, and we run afoul of some bad times. And
The instant the word respectable leaves your mouth, the entire crowd just begins laughing uproariously
Yeah.
again, and
and by respectable, of course, I mean the scurviest curs you've ever seen.
the fella who piped up is barely able to breathe. He just sort of gestures vaguely in the direction of a rather seedy looking tavern. Well, even compared to the seedy looking buildings of Tortuga, that's a seedy looking place. And he just points in that general direction and can't seem to get another breath in for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I look at it and I'm like, the Rat's Leg. Quite a name for a tavern. What do you think, Mac?
I hope they have spare legs.
We could use a spare leg. A leg of mutton, at the very least.
Let's go. I'm hungry.
Yes, as we all are.
Shut up, Brooks. No one asked you.
Mac, Brooks the only one with money right now, so we should probably be nice to him.
Hey, Brooks.
I go, not the only one with money, and I kind of like pat the back of one of my friends' heads, and like some coins come out the mouth.
I'm like, drinks on Peggy then. And like Kennedy and Billy just like go har like, and we start walking towards the tavern, I guess.
Is Brooks old enough to go inside a tavern, or do they even care?
They don't care.
That's a pirate town. They
Yeah.
don't care.
I mean, if Brooks wants to make a fuss about it, I'm sure.
No,
that
I
they
think
can
what
make a fuss
what
about it.
probably ends up happening is we don't have enough money to like pay the bill, so Brooks has to like work.
So maybe we just see a montage of like us like buying food and like drinking to our heart's content and like getting this whole big meal and like laughing uproariously with each other, and then someone comes like with and like says, you know, oh, and this is the bill, and we all like look at it, and it's like the anime where like the cloud of death like is over everybody, right? We're all just like, oh no, and then we all like, just look at Brooks, and then the next it cuts to you just like washing dishes in the back.
I guess they didn't want my cooking skills.
Well, maybe it pans over and we see Peggy like working in the kitchen too.
I'm not very helpful.
What the heck? Why? Why did I? Why? It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. I'll get revenge.
You'll give me revenge.
It's worth it.
Max.
Just take it. It's okay. Just scrub the dishes in frustration.
Max chilling on a table outside with a mug in his hand, and he's telling a story to the gathered pirates about the perils of working on a plantation and in the colonies, and how, you know, limbs are cheap, and just trying to impress them how tough he is, that he's
Right.
lived most of his life with only one limb.
And so I think like I'm like nearby, and I have like my hat over my like eyes, like I'm just kind of like resting. I'm like nursing a mug in one hand, and I'm like I like left my hat once you're like telling this story, and I'm like, You think you had it bad, Mac? I was a slave. I like stand up. I'm like, do you know what it's like to be a slave in the Caribbean, on a cotton plantation, day in, day out? You're whipped. You're beaten. They don't give you the time of day. They don't treat you as human. So what? You lost a couple of limbs. I lost my humanity. And only now I'm gaining it back among you respectable folk. Like, some of them, like, lift their glasses. A pirate's life is better than a slave's life, that's for sure.
Mac just raises his glass. He's, at this point, too drunk to even think of a response. He's going through liquor as fast as Brooks' work will pay for it.
I look at you, I'm like, are you sure that you're okay there, Mac?
I'm perfectly fine. And he holds his glass a little too far out and tips straight over onto his face.
And I guess that's where the scene ends.
Yep. I think that's a good ending.
Yeah.
Okay, was that a good ending or a bad ending for...
I think it was a good
That
ending
sounds
for
like a
him.
good ending
Yeah,
for...
He ended up,
he's happily drunk, so
yeah. Paid for
he
with
might
other
not-
people's
not-
coin and work.
he may not be waking up super great, but I mean, where the scene ended, he was fine. So
Alright, so you get 2 white dice, and then you can give them
Mhm.
to 1 or 2 other people.
All right. I think the scene went well for Tobias as he's finding himself and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So if you give it to Peggy, then that's good for Peggy.
I don't know that the scene necessarily went well for Peggy, as we kind of burned through all her money.
It's true.
I've only been through one of my heads. It's fine.
I think I'll put both white dice on Tobias
Okay, yeah.
this time round.
I'm
as
down with that.
I feel like Brooks kind of got the short straw again.
It's true. It's true. Brooks's life is just not a good one, unfortunately.
yeah, woe is me.
All right. Well, I guess it's me then. So I'm gonna establish the scene. I think we've paid for, well, Peggy and Brooks have paid for the the food and the drink that we got, and I think
They really just let us go of our tab because they wanted to get me out of the kitchen.
right. And I think like we, you guys are like, you guys can walk in whenever on this scene, if you want to, but it's me, Max, like, you know, sleep drunk right now, and I'm like, trying to like get a job in the tavern, like asking around, and so I think we just see like a, you know, a rough and tumble pirate type sitting at the table with a, you know, mug in his lap, and I just like sit down and like I'm looking, like pretending to look all cool and stuff, and like have my hat low on my face and like take it off, look at him and say, "The name's Captain Tobias of the Black Skull. I'm looking for work. Do you have anything that's maybe would pique my interest?"
So since Mac is out, are we establishing that Josh is playing this pirate character?
Let's do that.
All right. He sits and he scratches his beard. And he looks at you. Blinks real slow. And then he spouts something in German. A drawling, tumbling German that you don't have a clue what he said, but it was unpleasant and violent sounding.
So we'll take that as a no then.
I think one of the companions at the table just starts chuckling. Like, you're getting nothing out of this guy.
And I kind of like look dramatically away, and I'm like, "Well, my friend, you'll regret this when the name of Captain Tobias of the Black Skull echoes from every person's lips within 500 leagues of this place.
My twin sense is tingling, so I just yell from across the tavern, Tobias, captain of the Black Skull.
I'm like,
See, it's already begun. The ripples move onward. Ever onward. Anyway, let me know if you change your mind, and then I walk away. I think I go up to like Peggy and Brooks, and I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you very much for helping us pay the tab."
Rolling
What kind of look are you
pin.
giving me, Brooks?
A rolling pin comes flying out of the kitchen in the direction of Peggy's head. And stay out!
I duck just in time.
Does it hit
It
Brooks or me?
clobbers the German guy over the
Oh
face.
no! Oh no! So I think I like look back very slowly, and like, what does he look like?
He's mostly shoulders. Like 3 men wide in shoulder. And he slowly stands up from behind the table.
And I think
I
I look.
Brooks
okay.
is like wide-eyed, like
Yeah. I
oh,
look
crap.
back at Brooks and Peggy, and I'm like, it may be time for us to run.
He picks up the rolling pin, which is like solid hardwood, breaks it in half.
Brooks is gone. Brooks is run away.
Do we just hear like a prepubescent scream?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
"Ah!" And I think I like look back at Peggy, like wincing, and I'm like, "Do you have any voodoo curses for this man?"
Give me a second. And you just like see me hobbling to the kitchen for a second, and I come back out, and one of the heads is just like stuffed full of like different like herbs and everything that I could find back
I
there.
thought I said to stay out.
And a ladle comes flying through the air.
And I think I catch it. I think I catch this one.
and
The
I go.
German guy has managed to make it around the table.
Yeah,
I
so I
hand
turned to him.
the one of my friends to you, and I say, launch it at him, like with the ladle.
Yeah, so I put it in the ladle, and I like swing it back like a sling, and I'm like, "I am Captain Tobias of the Black Skull. You will hear my challenge, and be." Oh man, I'm trying to think of like a cool thing to say. "You will hear my challenge, and your bones will shiver, your legs will quake, and you will rue the day you cross
German guy
my
grabs-
path."
The German guy grabs the ladle between his forefinger and thumb. Kind of tugs on it a little bit, then realizes what's in his hand and just kind of bleh.
Yeah, so I like, I like pick it up really quickly and just like throw it at his face. And like it hits his face. What happens?
I just want like kind of like some black like dust to come out and kind of like surround his head.
And I look back at Peggy and I'm like, is that supposed to happen?
What happened?
A string of long... he begins stumbling around, and you can hear him alternating between phrases, including the words Volkswagen and Volvo.
Because those are the only German words that...
And he's cussing... he's using them like cuss words. And he's staring. He's unable to see, and he's tripping over things.
It sounds like it worked. I don't know what happened, but it's
yeah, it
sounds
definitely
like-
worked. Let's leave.
He
I
falls
like-
over. He trips over the end of one of the small benches, lands on it, and he lands just past one of the legs, so the whole thing shoots upright, launching a rather skinny sailor directly across the room in the direction of Tobias's head.
So I'm like just looking at this like, oh dear. And
Ah!
I think maybe we cut to the outside of the tavern. We just see the outside, and we just see Brooks like running away in the distance, and there's a dust cloud. and then we hear like the crash, and then it's just like, and take this, and like a fight breaks out, and like there's like tables being thrown everywhere, and we can just hear it all, and we're like yelling and stuff, and I'm like, Peggy, grab Mac, we need to leave now.
The German guy has grabbed Mac by the arm and is using him like a flail to beat on somebody else.
I grab a stool that seems the general same size as Mac, and just start hobbling towards the door.
Do I have to do everything?
I think one of the other guys like takes a swing at you, Tobias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I try to like do it all. Okay, so I think there's like an anime moment where I'm like, all right, I've trained for this. I've been in fist fights before. All I need to do is catch his blow and then trip him. It'll be so good. And then I'll like grab his upper arm like awkwardly, and then I just like he stops, and I'm like squeeze a little bit. I'm like,
what?
It's a firm bicep you have there.
We see
What's wrong with you?
we cut to a quick shot of the front of the tavern, and he's dead silent. And then you just see Tobias come flying backwards out the door,
Yep,
bowled over by Mac, stuck to his gut.
Yep.
And then Peggy just like walks out.
With the stool.
I'm walking out with my stool, and I'm like, don't worry, I got Mac. I think he's passed out. He hasn't said anything.
And I just shake my head, and I'm like, well, make sure that you don't drop him. And I just like drag Mac away, and we like book it. Or as Brooke did, brook it. Brook it out of there.
I feel like that would be the end of that.
Yeah, I
scene
think so too.
there.
Yep. So I think that was a bad scene for me.
I feel like that was bad.
Yeah, you didn't get a job, and you got in a fight that you terribly lost.
Yep.
So pretty negative.
But I did completely creep out some guy, so that was.
I still think it's negative.
No, I know it was definitely bad. So I think I'm gonna give one of these to Mac and one of them to Brooks. Peggy, it's your scene.
I think I want to resolve.
Okay.
There's nothing I can think of right now to do.
Right. Anyone have an idea?
Okay. So maybe like we run out of the tavern, correct? So we have to find a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Tortuga like looks like.
I can look how
Pirates of
like
the
whatever we
Caribbean?
want.
I've only seen Pirates of the Caribbean, like that part of Pirates of the Caribbean, like really good.
Okay. It's basically just a dirty colonial era town. More taverns than normal buildings, and
Trying to think of a
general general craziness going on. So we need to highlight Peggy.
Right. Peggy hasn't had a whole lot of story yet, so
It's true.
I'm gonna give her something good.
Maybe Peggy decides it's her turn to try and get them a job.
Yeah, well, maybe it's like morning and we've like found a place to like crash, and so she's like trying to make us all breakfast or something like that.
Could do that too.
I don't know. Just an idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Either one of those. What if that's the job?
Making you breakfast.
No, like you like you're like maybe it's basically gonna be like Peggy's like, listen, I can get us a job, and then you like bring us to like some place somewhere and like put us to work like making food for people. I don't know. Or no, wait. What if you so you have voodoo stuff. So what if because you're not a good cook, that's the thing. what if you try to like do some sort of like ritual spell or something like that to like find us
To
a
like
job.
get somebody to get us
Right.
a job.
Okay. So
So I think we're maybe like in some like barn somewhere, just like in the hay, all just like completely passed out and bruised and battered.
okay, so I startle awake with my keen voodoo senses, and everyone else is still asleep, and I guess it's still nighttime a little bit. And I kind of stumble around because I really can't see when it's dark. And feel around and find my two friends who are left since we tragically lost one yesterday in service. R.I.P. Jim. Okay, so I just kind of like walk around the barn, feeling around, find some hay that I start stuffing in one of the eyes of one of them. I pick up some dirt and smell it, and then go walk around a little more and then I pick up some dirt that turns out to be poop and stick that in the other eye. I'm like, ooh, yes, perfect. And I feel my way outside, and I pick up some like leaves or something, and I stuff it in the mouth, and I'm like, yes, I think this will work. And I kind of I walk back in the barn and I yell, fire! Fire! I need fire!
I'm assuming that's me.
Just to anybody.
Mac comes awake.
Think you would wake up with me yelling fire.
Right.
Whoa, what?
Fire!
Wait, there's a fire! There's a fire!
There's a fire!
I need fire!
Mac
Like, I think-
realizes that he's not only in a barn while somebody's hollering fire, he's also up in the hayloft. And he can't get down easily.
Yeah, I think Brooks is like the only calm one in this situation. It's like
So the rest of us are like running around like, oh my gosh, there's a fire. We're all gonna die.
I need fire. Somebody get me some fire.
Peggy, stop yelling fire. You're freaking everyone out.
Where's the fire? Brooks, put it out. Help me down. Save us, Brooks.
There's
I
no
don't know
fire.
I don't know where the fire is. That's why I need help.
And then I think like I like ran out of the barn and I come back with like a bucket of water from like the nearby well and I just start like I just throw it on some
You throw it right
random-
on Mac's red hair.
It's like Max like coming
Max
down from the
crazy
hayloft and I
red
just like
hair.
throw it on you.
I think Brooks like goes outside, like just like slumps like outside like sluggishly and like gets like two rocks and whatnot, like maybe find like two rocks to like start a fire, and whatnot.
Right.
I feel like because Brooks is like just a 14-year-old boy, he's kind of reckless. He's not like super capable.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just like gets some of the hay, like puts it on the floor, and then like starts like clicking the rocks together, like trying to get a spark.
Yeah, so I think I like look down and like I have the bucket on my hand. I'm like, wait a second. Wait, you wanted to start a fire?
I need fire.
Oh.
What was that water for, you haggis-livered son of an Englishman?
Whoa. I do
Don't
not
you-
call me a son of an
I
Englishman.
asked for fire,
That
not
doesn't
water,
sound good.
Tobias.
Just clicking away, trying
Alright,
to get a
well-
spark going.
It's probably fine to completely, it's probably completely okay to set a fire in a hayloft. So, go ahead.
No, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, we just kind of
Like, I think what happens is like, right, like I put the hay in like the middle of the floor, thinking this will be fine.
in the middle
like,
of
'cause
the
it's-
wooden floor with all
A
surrounded by
couple
more
feet
hay.
from
Yeah,
other-
as you're doing it,
other
I
fires,
just
okay?
say, look, I don't know how, but I know if I can get this fire and do this, we'll have a job.
Peggy, you're a lifesaver. And I like just go over and like hug you and like try to like kind of like jostle you back and
Pick,
forth. I
pick
guess.
me up and spin me around,
Right,
except
but
it
it's just
completely
kind of like
fails.
yeah, it's kind of like just like jostling you back and forth awkwardly.
Okay, I think after a couple minutes, I think I get some sparks going. And like, I think it's like starts like off totally fine. Like it's like exactly how I intended it. Like, okay, look, it's staying in the middle, and then slowly like the wood floor like starts to catch on fire.
Like with all the like chaff everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so with that happening, I kind of like throw the voodoo head in the middle, and we just hear like once there's like enough smoke, we start hearing people yelling fire, fire, and running over.
Yeah. So I'm like, so now I should go get the bucket with water again.
I don't know. Wait, let's wait for a second.
How much longer do you want us to wait, Peggy? As like the barn just keeps catching on fire.
Mac comes bumping out from behind from in the loft, one palm, one hip, as he's hopping his way out of the barn. It's on fire! Get yourselves out of there, you idiots!
Yeah, and I start like dragging Kennedy and Billy out.
Yeah, so we're walking out, we're like out and kind of like watching. I say, okay, now you can get the water.
And I'm outside already, and I don't hear you.
No, we're all outside.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're all like kind of.
So we're just like watching a barn burn, and I just
I say now
okay.
you
So
can
what
go
I do
get the water.
what I do is I turn to you and I'm like, I left the bucket inside.
Brooks just kind of goes, "Oops."
Do you want to just leave?
I mean, this is what pirates do, right?
Right, exactly.
I'm like, I think Brooks says that. She's like, well, I mean, like, we are pirates, are we not?
Ah, yes. This will give us a fierce reputation. And the name of Tobias, of Captain Tobias of the Black Skull, will echo throughout the land. Oh no, I forgot my hat in there, and I just run in.
Tobias!
Tobias, where did you go?
And then
He
I like
ran back into the building.
I start kind of like hobbling in towards him, and as I'm doing that, I think the fire has gotten big enough for long enough that the owners of the barn have kind of come already and are like asking what happened to us.
I think at this point Mac has made himself scarce. He's
So
he swarmed
Josh,
his way.
if you
He's
wanna
swarmed
be
his
the
way up a
barn
nearby
owner.
tree, and is now hanging out at the top branches, staring down at them.
Okay, so then I guess you can be the barn owners if you're not gonna. Mac's not gonna be in the scene.
It's
Yeah.
this.
I don't know if Brooks would say anything either. So I mean, we can both be the barn owners.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the first person out of the house is a farm wife, and she comes running out with a wooden ladle in hand and an apron on, and she's hollering at the top of her lungs, "What have you done?"
We didn't do anything. My brother's in there. He was trying to see if there were animals. He's in there.
She immediately hollers toward the house. "Herb! Get out here! Your barn's on fire!"
I think this cranky old man like comes out and goes, "Woman, what? Oh,
What
And
have
I
I told
just
you about
said-
waking me up in the morning?
woman, what have you done this time?
My brother's in there. He's trying to see if there were any animals.
Not you, her."
"I did nothing! I was baking your bread like you always want me to. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much salt. The barn's on fire now, and it's not my fault." Now,
Oh,
if
you
you'll
mean,
excuse
you
me,
mean,
I
like,
have to go finish. I have to go finish.
you mean like how letting out the sheep
going
wasn't
to
your
be-
fault, and how You know, like how our children didn't.
I hit them with my flipper attachment and I go, my brother's in the burning barn trying to save your animals that don't exist apparently.
Well, excuse me, we're having an argument here.
None of your business, little missy. This is between a man and wife.
And I like hit you again and I say, who are you calling little?
I think Herb's like, it's the first time a woman's ever hit me.
With a flipper, no less.
Like, who are you?
My brother's in the.
Get off my property!
Get off my property!
Get off my lawn, you crazy kid!
Well, there you go, Herb. Now you're flirting with every woman you come across.
Delilah, I wasn't even.
And then we
She
cut
just
to
goes
the
stomping off into the.
we cut to the inside, and I'm literally just like going through like the hay and like just like trying to like move it around, and I'm like, it's just literally like an inferno, and I'm just like, no, where's my darling? Where's my darling? Where's my baby? Where is it? And I think I finally find it, and it's like literally on fire. And I grab it and like I'm like trying to like put it out, and then I look down and I see the bucket. I'm like, perfect. And I grab the metal handle of the bucket and it like sears my hand, and I'm just like with like a burning hat in one hand and like the searing like metal in the other hand. I just like run out again, and then I go over to the well. And I like grab the bucket, like still screaming, and like with a flaming hat in my hand, and I fill the bucket up with water, and then like put it on my hat, and I like set both of them down on the ground. I'm just like, who are you?
Delilah comes back out of the house. Oh no, are you hurt, dear? Come here, let me see that.
Woman, are you flirting with men again?
Shut up, Herb.
Yeah, like I kind of like walk over in a stupor. I'm like, well, I had to save my darling.
Oh, well, I can respect that. Let's get some butter on that burn.
Butter
She
sounds
takes
nice.
She takes you into the house.
I go, do you need help with breakfast?
Herb's like sitting on his chair, like, you know, with like just the gut hanging out kind of thing.
So I think I like look back as she like leads me in, and I like look at the bucket and then look at the well again. And I'm like, I didn't need the bucket.
Guys, the barn is still on fire. I think Brooks like says that, guys. Look, guys.
Fire.
Like, Peggy, did you get the fire you needed?
Yeah. Do you guys think you'll need help rebuilding this barn?
I don't think Herb wants them there personally.
Oh, this man's going to need 3 weeks of bed rest for sure for this burn.
Oh, I don't
Herb!
think that's necessary.
Herb, we're gonna need help rebuilding this barn. I think we need help rebuilding this barn. Herb, why don't you hire these nice young folks? Help you rebuild that barn.
And I like look at the camera. I look at the camera, and I'm like my face is just like, yes. Ow.
And scene.
Just Herb just sighs.
As the camera's fading to black, you just hear. Okay, guys. Well, my voodoo worked. The fire did indeed get us a job.
It's true. I mean, I don't think there was really I think there was a good scene for you.
I think that was great.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna give myself 2 white dice. To give away. I feel like
Now you're gonna start messing with people. You could give them both to me. Ow.
Or, you know.
Just knock my 2 front teeth against my water bottle.
At least you didn't have light bulbs attack.
That's very true.
Light bulbs attack. Fight
let's
back to
see.
back. Show them no mercy and fire at will.
Light bulbs.
Till our
They
begin-
protect, they attack. But most importantly, I don't know another thing that rhymes with that.
Oh. Okay. Well, I feel like I should give one to Tobias because he got the most like good out of it.
Yeah,
His
boy.
crew, like his crew now has a job.
The
He's
name
gonna
of
be-
Captain Tobias will
tended-
ring throughout the world.
He's gonna be tended to for 3 weeks. By Delilah apparently.
I love how like your voodoo didn't end up doing anything. It was just the fire.
Right,
or
right. That's
it
the whole point.
voodoo?
It's exactly. That was my whole plan the whole time. And then the other one. Who had the worst outcome of this? It's gonna go against whoever. I feel like Alyssa as Herb has the worst. Because it's true, because
But
Poor
as Brooks,
Alyssa.
I did
As-
not have the
as
worst-
Brooks, you're also probably not super happy.
I mean, yeah, as Brooke, you kind of were responsible for burning their
You're
barn
gonna have to
down.
do the barn because Matt can't
I
really
thought it was the
do
job.
anything.
Right, but you're gonna end up doing most of the work. Is the
That's
thing.
true.
Mhm.
Fine, just screw me over. I get screwed over in Fiasco all the time, so it's whatever. Fine. No big
I'm
deal.
sorry.
Know
It's
that I'm coming
fine.
for you, Emily.
Fine, that's fine. Fine, it's fine. There's mostly black dice left. It's cool. If I can just collect a bunch of black dice too, it's fine.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and take our second break because we have reached the end of Act 1, and we'll come back, do the twist for the middle of Act 2, or in between Act 1 and Act 2, and then we will do another 4 scenes. All right, stick around. We have more Fiasco coming right after this.